Van Jones was here when we were doing our AI event. One of the things he brought up, which I thought was really interesting, is like the Black community has so much power. If we say something is cool, it's cool in South Korea, it's cool in North Korea, it's cool in Japan. Like it's interesting to look at like influence and power, but it's like it's so expansive. And can we expand ourselves into a world where we take pride in whoever it comes through.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we do that, but because I do feel like the tendency is to be like, are we doing better? Are they doing better? Which one's winning? Which one's losing? Versus like, oh, like this could be something that we also celebrate. The fact that like we all have our own capacities and we all bring in our own talents.
Exactly.
And I'd love to see. And so we titled this The Art of a Changemaker.
That's why I had to look. I was like,
yeah.
I hope we did that.
But I did that, but you don't have to tell people how to be a change maker, but I wanted them to hear your voice because I feel like part of what your voice is about is not about you. That your voice is to kind of talk us through how you navigate what is a revolutionary, graceful being who's connected to themselves and connected to this world and acting out of respect to that, to what they're seeing and what they're feeling and what they're sensing. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that as we get closer to an end, but I feel like that's what I get from you. So I don't know if that is how you see yourself.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I caught everything you said. I was trying
that I think that there's people who are in the world who want to be of greater service.
Yes.
They want to be more connected. They go to their work, they do their kids, and it's fine. But they also feel like, I want to contribute to some world vision that I want to see happen. I don't just want to spend 2 hours on TikTok or social media. Like, I would actually like to feel like I'm a part of a change that I want to see in the world. And I think you've done incredible already. What you've said is amazing. But for you, maybe what is it to be a true change maker, and not just somebody who's like kind of like hanging out in the status quo?
Well, I think one, being intentional about coming to a space like this is the start, right?
Yeah.
I think these kind of spaces that are really carefully curated, that think about how you show up in the world, I think I wish I knew something like this existed before I met you, I think this is one of the ways. But I also think we've gotten really, and I talk to college students, I say this a lot, we've gotten really, really, what's the word? Is it dogmatic maybe? About what it means to make change, what it means to be an activist, all of that. And I think that I think we need to loosen that a little bit.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right? Particularly in this moment in the world, where there is so much, and I'm going to use the word evil, because it just really feels evil, where there's so much sort of evil and meanness, and maybe that feels not like the strong enough word, but people really are just mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are just cruel and mean for no reason. We are cruel and mean to each other for no reason. I think one of the arts of being a change maker is about being intentional about how you show up. Values really do matter.
Yeah.
They do. It matters, and not just sort of naming them, but like thinking about how you live them.
Yeah.
It's not, nobody's gonna be perfect. I think that's one of the things I'm thinking through about writing in the book, right? I named these like 7 sort of tenets of revolutionary grace, but it's because I think of like, love is a value, and these different kind of values, but like they're not always active for me at every moment.
Yeah.
For me, I think about grace a lot. And so it's the one I pull on all the time. And so it activates my other values.
Yeah, that's
right?
beautiful.
You know what I mean? I need something that's going to activate my other values for me. So when I want to be snarky, and when I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was in an interview one time with, what's this lady name? I have an excuse, y'all. I'm old. I can't think of people's name all the time.
What media company? Can we help you out?
It was like Katie Couric, I think. Don't tell her I couldn't think of her name. But no. I can't think. A very well-known media personality. It's going to come to me in a second. But she started off the interview by saying, you are known as one of the kindest. She said, you said you're known as one of the kindest movement leaders out there, something like that, she said. And I was like, me? Not that I'm unkind, but it was just an interesting,
Yeah.
thing to hear as a descriptor. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, well, you don't like get into these fights on Twitter and the internet, and you don't like talk badly about people. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, why would I I was like, do you know how busy I am? I just cannot imagine.
Right.
It's just not, it's such a not useful use of my time. I just couldn't imagine, like, and then I started thinking, I was like, okay, because I was on TV, I didn't want to like talk about other people, other leaders, because then I wanted to be like, who does that? Like,
Believe it or not, there are people.
No, there
who
are.
do
And,
that.
and then I started thinking, I was like, oh, okay, I do kind of remember hearing about this person or that person. So I knew kind of what she was talking about, but then I was like, well, that doesn't serve me and my work and the purpose of my work. But my point is, I do have moments where I want to do that. I do have moments where I'm very angry. People say horrible things about me on the internet all the time. And I want to react. I'm like, I'm from the Bronx. You can't talk about me like that. You wouldn't say it to my face. Like, are you serious? But there is a thing that I keep in my mind that activates the value, right?
Yeah.
That says, no, Tarana, you can't do that.
Yeah, great.
No, Tarana, you can't. Right.
Yeah.
I have to find that thing that activates it. So, like, being a change maker is important to me.
Yeah.
You are a change maker to somebody in your life.
Yeah.
Your children, your family, your coworkers, your whoever, whoever. There has to be a way that you're thoughtful about how you show up, who your sphere of influence is, and what you represent to them. And I think it's this intentionality is everything. That's what I would say. I spend a lot of time thinking about intentionality.
Yeah.
And I slip up.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
It may not be in public, y'all don't see it. And sometimes you will, and when you do see it, be like, ooh, it must have been a big slip up. They must have really pissed her off, because trust me, I work really hard not to. But because I'm a human being, and it'll happen. But I think that is the thing. And I'm also, in terms of the actual work I'm doing, not just in my day-to-day life, really being strategic. I'm thinking 30 years ahead. I'm thinking about legacy is important to me as well.
Yeah.
I know that I do believe, I think every day about what this world would look like without sexual violence. Bloomberg, I know we got to wrap up, I see the sign, but this is really true. Mike Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York, billionaire, 25 years ago decided we should have a smoke-free, a tobacco-free America. This is a true story. And in the last 25 years, he has committed $20+ billion towards that cause.
Wow.
Right. I want y'all to think about this, because I don't know, I can't see you, so I don't know your ages, but I can tell people are probably a little bit older than 18. I had to pick a low number, not to. But I'm sure many of you remember when we used to have cigarette smoking on planes.
Yeah.
And in bars.
Yeah.
Do they smoke in bars in San Francisco? Because in New York, they don't.
Yeah. Probably not.
No smoking in bars here, right?
You can drink in bars, but still
I
in San
hope so.
Francisco.
Do y'all do smoothies in bars like that?
Yeah, we have green
But
drinks.
anyway, there was a time in this country, we remember, you could smoke on a plane, you could smoke in bar, all these different places. 30 years ago, 40, that was the case. You saw lots of cigarette smoking in TV shows. There was cigarette ads. Remember the cool ads? You were like,
Yeah.
there was like Virginia Slims and the
With
Marlboro Man.
Doctors were smoking,
Yeah, right. We had a world where cigarettes were everywhere. There were cigarette machines in schools and, in doctor's offices. Anyway, the reason why we have a very different America right now in relation to cigarettes is because Mike Bloomberg got his other billionaire friends, and they put $20 billion+ into changing that.
Wow.
They decided that. They made that decision.
Yeah.
And yes, people still smoke cigarettes, obviously.
Sure.
But I will tell you, in the last 25 years, there have been multiple interventions.
Yeah.
Medical interventions, research interventions. Remember when the big reports came out saying secondhand smoke will kill you, blah, 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 blah. There have been narrative interventions. They made sure that there was the cigarette ads came out of all the things, right? No more cigarette smoking
Yeah.
on television. No more cigarette smoking. There were legal interventions. Big Tobacco got sued
Yeah.
all over the place. There were grassroots intervention. Remember the truth ads that came out?
Yeah.
We got the ladies on TV going, you know,
Yeah.
these you all know what I'm talking about. If you think about it, you think about all the different interventions we've seen in the last 3 decades to change the way we think. Right now, I have a 26-year-old child. Somebody lights up a cigarette, they're like, ugh, who's smoking?
Yeah.
So kids vape now. Of course, the tobacco industry will find some other thing. My point to you is that when somebody decided to wrap their arms around the whole thing and say, we can end this, in 25 years, we think differently about tobacco.
Yeah.
We think differently about tobacco. We can do the same thing around sexual violence.
That's right.